Hello friends, welcome all of you. In the last lecture, we have seen that the refraction of light at the plane boundary between the two media and dependence of wavelength on the refractive index of the medium. In this lecture, we are going to discuss the new points in this chapter. They are polarization, polarization of light, unpolarized light passing through the two media, polarization by reflection, and the Brewster's law, polarization by scattering. We have seen in last lecture the light is an electromagnetic wave. It consists of electric field vector and the magnetic field vector. Both are perpendicular to each other. Again, both are perpendicular to the direction of propagation of the wave. In the year 1865, Maxwell proposed the electromagnetic wave theory. According to this theory, light is an electromagnetic wave. It consists of vibrations of the electric field and magnetic field. They are perpendicular to the direction of the propagation of the wave. Also, the vibration of the electric and magnetic field are confined to two different planes. They are mutually perpendicular to each other. Means electric field vector and magnetic field vector both are in the separate different planes. They are perpendicular to each other. Every vibration have a particular plane of oscillation. The oscillation can be have in all possible directions. In unpolarized light, that is ordinary light, the electric field vector E is always perpendicular to the direction of propagation of light. For example, if light propagates along the x-axis, electric field vector may be along y-axis, it may be along z-axis, it may be along yz plane. Experimentally, it was proved that the electric field vectors are responsible for the vision. So, the vibrations of light means the vibrations of the electric field vector only. Electric field vector are responsible for the vision. So, these vibrations are only the electric field vibrations. If we neglect the vibrations of magnetic field, the representation becomes very simple. Here, the magnetic field vector is removed and we get only the one, that is electric field vector. Its nature is transverse. Transverse wave consists of crest and trough. The diagram shown in figure, its nature is transverse wave. Now the electromagnetic wave will look like pure transverse wave. Its vibrations in all possible planes, in all possible directions. Here the unpolarized light coming towards us or going away from us is shown in the figure. Unpolarized light is due to the vibrations of excited atoms. The different atoms of a material can produce the vibrations in the different direction. Different material or different atoms have the different direction, random directions, and due to these vibrations we get the electromagnetic wave. These different atoms of material can produce the vibrations in the various directions. Due to this, the common source of light. Suppose this is incandescent bulb, candle flame, fluorescent lamp shows the unpolarized light. It gives the unpolarized light. These vibrations of the electric field vector in all possible directions. The common source of light emit light that have the electric field vibrations in a number of directions, in all possible directions. Common source of light produce the unpolarized. This nature of light is unpolarized light. This type of light which has the vibrations in more than one plane is called unpolarized light. This is the side view of the unpolarized light. This shows a standing line, double-headed arrow, the vibrations in plane of a paper, and the central dot shows the vibrations in the direction perpendicular to the plane of a paper. Here, the electric field vector in an unpolarized light can be resolved into the two components, that horizontal and vertical. Due to this, we get the simple way of representing the unpolarized light. This electric field vector, magnetic field vector, both are perpendicular to each other. This is the front view of the electromagnetic wave. This is the unpolarized light. We seen that the unpolarized light have the different direction. Unpolarized light coming towards us or going away from us, shown in this diagram. In this diagram, polarized light coming towards us or going away from us with the electric field along the horizontal direction. The unpolarized light can be defined as the light waves consisting of vibrations of electric field vector in all possible planes are called the unpolarized light, that is ordinary light. Here in this diagram, the unpolarized light is shown. This is also unpolarized light. Unpolarized light consists of the direction of light propagation shown in this arrow. This is direction of propagation of light, and the direction of light vibration is shown in dot and the standing line arrow on both sides. Combination of these two, we get the unpolarized light. This is the plane polarized light. The vibrations of the electric field vector in the plane of paper, and here the vibrations of the electric field vector perpendicular to the plane of paper. Both are plane polarized light. Both. This is plane polarized light. This is also the plane polarized light. Plane polarized light means the light wave consists of vibrations of the electric field vector only in one plane, and called the plane polarized light. Unpolarized light through the two polarizers. Suppose we have taken the two polarizer. One is a polarizer. This is the second polarizer called the analyzer. When the ordinary light is passed, that is unpolarized light is passed through the one polarizer, we get the plane polarized light. If we put the another polarizer in front of this light, that is, this is the analyzer. Experimentally, it is observed that the plane polarized light is observed which passed through the analyzer also. This is because this axis, the dotted line, this is the axis of the two polarizers, called as the crystallographic axis of the polarizers. If these two axes are parallel to each other, then the light is passed through the two polarizers, and this light is plane polarized light. The intensity of the polarized light here, when the unpolarized light is passed through the polarizer, the light passes through the polarizer. This is the plane polarized light. Its intensity is I0 upon 2, because the original, that is unpolarized light, have the intensity I0, and plane polarized light we observe, we see, which is passed through the polarizer, having intensity I0 upon 2. And if this light is passed again through the second polarizer, that is analyzer, its intensity remains unchanged, that is I is equal to I0 upon 2. The emergent light will have no change in intensity, that is when theta is equal to 0 degree or theta is equal to 180 degree, intensity is maximum, which is equal to I is equal to I0 upon 2. If the axis of the second polarizer is changed, what happens? Both axes, that is polarizer axis and the analyzer's axis, are parallel to each other. Light passed through the analyzer, but What happens when the axis of the analyzer is slowly changed? Slowly changed. Then the intensity of the light continuously goes on decreasing. When this theta becomes theta is equal to 90 degree, then we cannot observe the light. That is intensity of light I is equal to 0. Completely darkness, we cannot observe the light. Means when the pass axis of polarizer, this dotted line is pass axis of the polarizer and analyzer, that is second polarizer, are perpendicular to each other, no light will be transmitted out of the analyzer. When theta is equal to 90 degree, the intensity I is equal to 0, means the axis of polarizer and the axis of analyzer both are perpendicular to each other. We cannot observe the light, that is intensity of light becomes 0. Polarization of the light waves, the phenomenon of restricting the vibrations of an unpolarized light only in one plane and removing the vibrations in other plane is called polarization of light. Here there is a restriction. When the axis becomes perpendicular to each other, no light passed through the analyzer. Means, understand the definition, the phenomenon of restricting the vibrations of an unpolarized light. This is unpolarized light only in one plane and removing the vibrations in the other plane. Here the vibrations are removed. This is called polarization of light. Here we have the two terms, that is the plane of vibration and the plane of polarization. Here we are see what is meant by the plane of vibration. This is the plane of vibration. The name A, B, C, D is the name of plane of vibration. The plane which contains the vibrations of the plane polarized light take place is called plane of vibration. Plane of vibration in which the vibrations of the electric field vector takes place called the plane of vibration. Here unpolarized light is passed through the polarizer and we get the plane polarized light, and this plane, that is A, B, C, D, the plane in which the vibrations of the plane polarized light takes place is called plane of vibration. That is A, B, C, D is the plane of vibration. In second diagram here A, B, C, D is the plane of vibration and the second plane is called the plane of polarization. Here the plane perpendicular to the plane of vibration, this is PQRS, is the second plane which is perpendicular to the plane of vibration. This plane is called the plane of polarization. The definition for the plane of polarization is the plane perpendicular to the plane of vibration in which there are no vibrations of the polarized light is called plane of polarization, PQRS. The name of the plane we have given PQRS. This is the second plane. In second diagram, this is the plane of ABCD, plane of vibration, and the second plane here, second plane is called the plane of polarization. Malus law, polarization by the reflection. Malus studied polarization by reflection in 1808. The simplest method to produce plane polarized light by reflection. The Malus law states that when completely plane polarized light is incident on analyzer, the intensity of the emergent light varies as a square of the cosine of the angle between the polarizer and analyzer, that is I is equal to I0 into cos square theta. Polarization by reflection. When unpolarized light is incident on the transparent medium, experimentally it is observed that when I is equal to I means angle of incidence, this angle is called the polarizing angle. See, the polarizing angle, when light is incident at an polarizing angle, the reflected ray and the refracted rays are plane polarized. Reflected ray is plane polarized. Refracted ray is partially polarized. In 1892, Brewster discovered that when light is incident on a transparent medium at a polarizing angle, the reflected light is completely plane polarized. Here, reflected light is completely plane polarized. The directions is shown in figure. When light is incident at the polarizing angle theta b. At the interface of the transparent medium, the refractive index of the medium with respect to surrounding medium is equal to the tangent of the polarizing angle. Here, this is the Brewster's law. N is equal to tan theta b. Statement: when light incident at a polarizing angle theta b, the refractive index of the transparent medium, the refractive index of the medium with respect to the surrounding medium is equal to the tangent of the polarizing angle, where n is the refractive index of the medium with respect to the surrounding medium. Using Brewster's law, we can calculate the polarizing angle of the medium whose refractive index is known. Consider the example. Here, glass material is surrounded by the air. Glass material having refractive index 1.5 and is surrounded by the air. Its polarizing angle occurs 56.3 degree. Here, using Brewster's law, we can calculate the polarizing angle. If the refractive index of the medium is known, if we know the refractive index of the medium, we can calculate the polarizing angle. For a glass is surrounded by the air, its polarizing angle occurs 56.3 degree. Suppose the second example, consider the water is surrounded by the air. Water having the refractive index 1.33 and the polarizing angle is equal to the 53 degree. Polarization by reflection. Here we have to prove the Brewster's law. In figure, here xy is the refracting surface, NAM is a normal drawn to this refracting surface, PA is the incident ray, AR is the refracted ray, AR is the reflected ray, AD is the refracted ray. Here, Brewster's law states that the tangent of the polarizing angle is equal to the refractive index of the refracting medium at which partial reflection takes place. In figure, here PAN is the angle of incidence. Here the angle of incidence shown by letter theta b. Therefore, I is equal to theta b. Therefore, angle PAN is equal to angle theta b. And angle DAM is equal to, this is the refracting angle. It's shown by theta r. In figure, here angle R plus angle DAR plus angle theta r. The total of these three angles is equal to 180 degree. At polarizing angle, AR and AD are mutually perpendicular to each other. Means at a polarizing angle, the reflected ray and the refracted ray are mutually perpendicular to each other. This means the angle DAR is equal to 90 degree. If we put this value in equation 1, we get angle R plus angle 90 plus angle theta R is equal to 180 degree. Therefore, subtracting 180 minus 90, we get angle R plus angle theta R is equal to 90 degrees. Suppose this equation number 2. Therefore, theta B plus theta R is equal to 90 degree, because according to laws of reflection, angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. So we put the value of R is equal to angle theta B. And we know that the Snell's law states that the ratio of sine of angle of incidence to the sine of angle of refraction is always constant. This constant is called the refractive index of the second medium with respect to first. And the refractive index in terms of the refractive indices can be written as refractive index of the second medium with respect to first medium is equal to n2 divided by n1. That is, n2 upon n1 is equal to sin I divided by sin R. Here, angle of incidence is equal to theta B and angle of refraction is equal to theta R. So, we put the value of I and R. Therefore, sin theta B divided by sin theta R, which is equal to sin theta B divided by sin of 90 minus theta B. Sin of 90 minus theta means cos theta. So, we get n2 upon n1 is equal to sin theta B divided by cos theta B. And the ratio of sin upon cos means a tan. Therefore, n2 divided by n1 is equal to tan theta B. Means theta B is equal to tan inverse of n2 upon n1. Therefore, theta B is equal to tan inverse of n/1. That is the refractive index of the second medium with respect to first. Simply we write this is n. Therefore, theta B is equal to tan inverse of n. Therefore, n is equal to tan theta B. This is the proof of Brewster law. Polarization by scattering. Scattering means the change in the direction of light when it strikes on air molecules or dust particles is called scattering. Here, incoming unpolarized light is incident on the air molecule or dust particle. Then it gets scattered. It moves in different direction. It's called scattering. This is scattered light shown by this red color arrow, and the scattered light is partially polarized. The degree of polarization depends on the scattering angle. This is the scattering angle, the angle between original direction of the light and the direction of the scattered light. The angle between these two rays is called the scattering angle. What is meant by scattering angle? The definition of the scattering angle is the angle between direction of the incident light on molecule or dust particle and the direction of the scattered light. If this angle is 90 degree, if this angle, that is scattering angle, is 90 degree, then we observe the plane polarized light. If this angle changes, increases, it becomes 90 degree, then we get the plane polarized light. Scattering angle means the angle between the direction of incident light on molecule or dust particle and the direction of the scattered light. This is the original direction of incident light and this is the scattered light. And angle between these two rays is called the scattering angle. If this angle increases, it becomes equal to 90 degree. We observe the plane polarized light, which is shown in figure. We cannot get the polarization when unpolarized light is incident on air molecule or dust particle then in the same direction of the incident light. No polarization is observed. no polarization parallel to the original direction of the incident light. Scattering observed for the different direction. It is no polarization in the original direction of the incident light. This diagram is called the Rayleigh scattering. Here the unpolarized light is incident on the air molecule or the dust particle. When the scattering angle becomes equal to 90 degree, we observe the plane polarized light shown in figure. In the original direction of the incident light, no polarization is observed. This is unpolarized. This also unpolarized because the direction of the unpolarized light and this direction is same. That is no polarization parallel to the original direction of light. This direction is parallel to the original direction of the light. So we cannot get here the polarization. We observe the polarization when the angle is different than the original and the 90 degree, that is the perpendicular. When theta, that is the scattering angle, is equal to 90 degree, we get the plane polarized light. In original direction we cannot get the polarization, and this ray shows that the rays are scattered, partially scattered or partially polarized. These rays are light rays are scattered. These are partially polarized, shown in figure. This is the vibrations in the plane of paper. This is the vibrations perpendicular to the plane of paper. Thank you.